Look at him. He's just dickered. Just dickered, boys. Son of a bitch.
Yo, yo. Class A, and macro. Not connected, not elected to participate. Bouncing down the stems will make your head hurt. Enjoy the takes. Says her whose head burns from hearing.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Take Her Wide. This is episode 215. Episodes are brought to you by Dave Levitt Photography.ca. Dave is a photographer here in Cambridge, and he does good work. He does music videos, he does websites, he'll do promos for your band. He's supported this since day one, so I'll always support him. This is a broken record at this point, but I always have to show love to Dave. Dave Levitt Photography.ca. Also brought to you, you know what, it's funny, I'm going to try to rush these. Yeah, kind of. I was in prepping for the last one. I had to listen to the beginning, and it seemed kind of long, so just bear with me. But it's kind of exciting to have people. Here I go. I'm just going to make this real long here. People be on board to support this. It's like when a band or someone buys your band shirt and then you see them wearing it. It's kind of like, oh shit, you really are supportive. So this is like a direct way that people support this show by, sponsoring up and advertising with me. So maybe I'll take that back. Maybe I won't go so fast through these, but just bear with it. They're good people doing good things. So I'll just go to the next one. Also brought to you by Kevin Rigo at Hefner Toyota out in Kitchener. If you are looking to buy a new car, a used car, and you're out in Kitchener and you might not know anyone who you can trust, I would put my trust in Kevin. I've known Kevin forever. He is an old friend. He's a family man, honest man, hardworking man. And he's down to support this. So it'd be dope if any of you listening would be down to support him. I think on the description, you can go to his Facebook page. So even as simple as a like, just go and like it. He can see the activity, and he can see that people are at least aware that he exists. He's out at 3121 King Street East in Kitchener. And yeah, if you're looking for a nice new car, a used car, go to Kevin Rigo at Hefner Toyota. Also brought to you by Wellington Brewery. That's out in Guelph. They're Canada's oldest brewery. And they are doing this new kind of grisette. I'll just kind of basically read the blurb. Refers to a French working class woman from the late Oh my God. Grisette refers to a French working class woman from the late 17th century and is also a traditional farmhouse style table beer. This sessionable grisette was brewed by the Queen of Craft crew using 100% Ontario hops, generously donated by Clear Valley Hops. 25 cents from each can that's sold will be donated to Guelph Wellington Women in Crisis, which is a really cool thing that they're doing. So if you're out and about, go grab one of those. I've had them. I have them. They're good. They're delicious. And you're helping a good cause, so all love to Wellington Brewery. I just need to make a note. I'll just tell you guys, I was sick last night as a dog, barfing, shitting, not at 100%, so the fogginess in this sludgy intro, I'm going to attribute to that, so whatever, I'm all squirrely. Next one, dapperbeardoil.com. That's Andrew Rashad out in Ottawa, and he has a beard oil company. It's made from 100% natural ingredients. It's ethically sourced. It helps hydrate, repair. It's antibacterial, and it helps reduce beard dandruff. He has the 3 types, the scent-free, the gold tusk, which is a fresh, spicy, earthy undertone. He has the black tusk number 2, which is smoky cedar and cypress. He's seen press in GQ, CBC, Huffington Post, Ottawa Citizen, Herd Magazine. And he's doing a promo code. Just if you use Take Her Wide free ship, you get free shipping on your beard oil. I've used it. It's good. It's fancy. And it's great just to support a guy doing it on his own. So go to dapperbeardoil.com. The link is in the description of the show. And go check it out. What else we got here? Couple more. One more? I think just one more. Ironclad Graphics, they're a custom screen printing company in Kingston, and they do shirts, posters, and hats, stickers, koozies, toques, kind of any merchandise your band or business is going to use. He ships coast to coast every day, and I've been using him for a long time. He's although he is out in Kingston, he's still competitive with his pricing, and he does good work. And if you guys go to his site and order some merch, mention the show and you'll get $25 off of your order, which is great. So just go to ironcladgraphics.com to go check out more information. So I think that's all the sponsors. I hopefully haven't forgotten anyone. So for this episode, I'm speaking to Matt King. Matt plays guitar and sings in Portrayal of Guilt from Austin, Texas. He used to sing for Illustrations, and I've been seeing that they're super, super busy and they got some big things coming up. So I'm excited to talk to them. It's like a big kind of tidal wave of work coming up for them, but they've also have been doing well for how new of a band they are. So excited to talk to him and catch up. And yeah, this is 215, guys. Thanks for listening to the intro as I regenerate from being totally dicked. 215 with Matt. All right, cool. Yeah, thanks for fucking doing this, man. It's I've been seeing how busy you guys have been, and it's like, fuck, it's kind of cool to see because we like met super briefly.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, fuck, he's in like Montreal. I was in Montreal and I saw like a handbill for you guys playing somewhere there.
Oh yeah.
How was that?
It was actually, I think, was it Montreal? I think it was. We played at a house, I think, and we played in some basement, and it was insane. It was packed. It was great.
Yeah, hell shit. Like I can't keep up with all the bands and even my friends' bands, but you know, you guys have been fucking busy, man. Shit, because I was looking and it's like 3 EPs. Well, I guess there's that cover and then the 2 EPs, and like fucking mad touring, and you guys are doing Europe. Like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, that's just kind of like what I wanted to do, I guess. I don't know.
Was it because I didn't even really know, because I had seen the name, and then when I looked into it more, I'm like, oh fuck, that's Matt. Like, is Illustrations done?
Yeah, it was sort of, so our drummer, I don't know if you remember back when we played with you guys a long time ago, we had this drummer named Raymond.
I remember, yeah.
And like, he sort of wasn't able to tour too much, so we got our friend James to play drums for us, and we had done a tour like with the Fall of Troy randomly, and after that tour, things just kind of like went to shit, sort of. Like, we had an album come out, and like not everybody was doing their part, so me and James started jamming some other stuff that I was writing, and it was just a side project at first, but like whenever we put the 7-inch out, it seemed that people liked it, so we just kept doing it. So yeah, so eventually Illustrations just kind of like just stopped doing its thing, and then we started taking this like full time. So
I was wondering because it seemed like with Illustrations, I don't know if you guys got a manager or what, but it got like mad pro. Like after that, the whole record thing that came out. Fuck, what was it called? Something God? No.
Acts of God, yeah.
Acts of God.
We actually did get a manager for a brief moment of time. It was actually like the same manager that the Fall of Troy had during that time. But I mean, now if looking back on it, I wouldn't have gone that route.
No, why not?
I mean, because the communication was weird, and there was a lot of money involved, and like at the end of the day, a lot of money was owed, and like now I'm stuck with that debt. So,
really, eh?
Yeah. So that's just how it goes, I feel, with that. So maybe unless I guess like have a better person working with me, then I probably won't go that route again. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that I see some buddies of mine go hard as far as try to make this their full-time gig, and the responsibilities that come with that, even time, and sometimes fucking money. It's kind of scary because it's like you want to level up, right? And you feel like you're a small band and someone might offer you some help, but how many like bands are actually paying their bills? I feel like Black Dahlia Murder is like the metal band that does well, but they're touring like 8 months, 9 months of the year,
I think that's kind of like how you make the money, at least from what I've noticed. I mean, like, to even fund a tour in the first place, you have to like work your ass off at work to pay for it. But then at the end of at least like the past two tours that we've done, we've come out with money, so that helps us a bit. So I feel like if we were on tour the majority of the year, I guess technically it would be like fully self-sustaining. But I mean, and that's if nothing happened, if like nothing bad went wrong. Or whatever.
Yeah, which it's kind of like inevitable. The odds are kind of against you sometimes, even be it a van or like even I saw this Europe tour coming up. Is there a lot of like, are you going in it knowing it'll be okay? Like, who's taking care of it? How do you feel about the tour?
Well, I've been to Europe before touring with another band, but I didn't handle any of it. I just went. So this time around, since I'm sort of like handling I guess like the business end, I sort of know what to expect. You know, someone, our now friend Joe from this company, Stateless Society, hit me up, a good chunk of time ago and asked if we wanted to go to Europe. Said that, he would set everything up, and all we would really have to worry about is the plane tickets to get there, which was really the main issue, I guess. There's like a van rental and gear rental daily, but I guess that's sort of being covered by the guarantees. So, I mean, I feel like I feel like it'll be somewhat of the same experience as it is here, aside from maybe like show turnout or obviously it's Europe, so it's going to be different. But other than that, I feel like essentially it's going to be the same thing. I'm pretty sure we're actually like driving ourselves for half of it. Yeah, so I'm kind of worried about that because obviously I don't know how to drive out there, and I don't think any of us do. So
well, shit, I got some buddies who drove themselves and they didn't die. GPS and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
just
I think we'll be okay.
I'm always like hesitant to work with people, man. I'm kind of a control guy, so whenever someone's like, I want to help you, my past experiences have been like, nah, I'll just do it myself, because like, I don't know, it's just such a risk, right? Like, he's your buddy,
I feel
right?
That.
But
I mean, I had done some research, obviously, like into the company and whatnot, and it seemed he had done some tours for bands that I know, and the band that we're touring with, Centuries, I guess he has brought them out to Europe before, so they know him pretty well. So I mean, I gotta trust them because I've also known them for years. So
yeah,
I mean, it's probably gonna be a lot better of an experience going this route than say, just finding some random person and trying to put together the tour like completely DIY. And like myself or something, like as if I was booking it. You know what I mean?
I do. Well, the two Sabs tours we did, I booked both of those, and we lost a fucking lot of money. It sucked. But at the same time, it's like if we wanted to get out there, I don't know. Looking back, it's funny because it's kind of like we did have a label in France put out our last record, but that didn't really help because you kind of think because with you guys have those two labels. I wrote it down. I can't remember. There's both of those 7 inches were on separate European labels, weren't they?
Oh, right. Yeah. That was, I feel like it's just like we've run into luck there just because the label that put out our first 7-inch, Miss the Stars, like I had no clue who that was, but it just so happens that they also put on a fest called Miss the Stars Fest.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's super awesome. The lineup is super sick, and I mean doing that got us in touch with so many other people out in Europe, and we were approached by this. I guess it's like a merch company called Evil Greed, who does a lot of merch for bands from America. Like Converge and like who else? Just a ton of others. There's just too many to even like pick one.
Well, even just Converge is like okay.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely official there. But I think also they do. I guess Throat Ruiner is like the Death Wish of Europe, but I guess it's more of like the official sort of merch company that a lot of bands go through out there, and so I was working with them to put some merch in their store, so that because they had contacted us after we had sort of confirmed a European tour in the first place. So I figured, why not sell some merch out there, maybe make some money to help with the tour or whatever.
Mhm.
And it turns out, like, having them as a connection, they're printing our merch for that tour, and we don't have to pay it like immediately, and it's just like a lucky thing, like a good deal.
Well, do you think it's like, I don't know, even saying lucky, it's just because the music rips, right? So you kind of, that's the thing, you make music for yourself and you hope people dig it, but those are extra cherries
Yeah.
on top when it's like, oh no, people actually want to
Definitely.
invest time and money in your band.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a good feeling,
Yeah.
to say the least. I mean, so I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how it's going there, and I'm excited to go to Europe. Like, it's definitely going to be like a I don't know. I'll feel proud for it, I guess. Like,
Word.
when we're actually out there and like playing shows, it'll be a good feeling that we sort of within 1 year made it to Europe. So
Well, that's just
pretty
it.
cool.
In my little intro to this thing, I was saying, like, in the short amount of time, like 2 EPs and a cover, like, you guys have covered a lot of ground, European releases, and even I saw like Death Wish repress the second
Yeah,
pressing of
they
the.
repressed the 7-inch. Yeah,
How did that come
that was
about?
pretty cool.
They just hit you up.
Well, I get, like, obviously the 7-inch was pressed in Europe, so we didn't actually get any physical copies until it was already, I guess, selling in Europe. And when we first got like the box of like 50 or whatever, because I guess we had a tour coming up, I put like a chunk of them online on just through the band, like through the Bandcamp or whatever, and they sold out in like 30 minutes. And so I was like, this is insane. Like,
Yeah.
and through that, like, just random people were hitting me up, like a couple of the guys from that band, Touche Amore, like, suddenly found it and were way into it, and a couple of other people that I know were just found out about it there and ordered it then. And so I figured, I asked for them to ship us more, and I basically asked Death Wish if they would want to carry it, I guess, just to have it in the store. Like, might as well, like, that looks good on a resume or whatever. So
Yeah.
I did that, and as soon as I posted about them being in Death Wish, like, they sold out in like a couple of days, and they had asked me after that if we would be interested in doing like an exclusive colorway through them, because I was already looking into repressing it anyways, because there were only 300 copies. But yeah, they asked if we wanted to do an exclusive color. I said yeah. They ended up having a good hookup for like the parts to press the actual record, so we just went that route. And whenever they announced it, like, everybody thought that we were getting signed to Death Wish or something. Like, it was just some huge thing, but really it was just the same 7-inch that was already out there being repressed, like, with a different color or whatever, But it was cool. I mean, it did a lot for us. So
Man, that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a thing like clout with bands that's kind of real, I feel. Like, some people might not be into your band until, like, oh, Death Wish likes it, then I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it
that's the
helps,
thing.
right? Like,
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, even having people think that they signed us is okay with me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like go out of my way to correct them or anything, but
uh,
it's like a cool thing to be able to work with them on that. So that was cool.
Are you selling more online or at shows? Sounds like online.
Like, the first pressing went online really fast, so online mainly. But on the tour that we had, the first pressing, we sold out, I think, within a week of. It was like a 2-week tour, so we sold out a week into the tour. But then we ended up getting another box maybe like a day or so later, and then we sold out of them again, like on the way back. So I don't know, actually. I would say on tour, I guess, just because on our last tour, I can't remember. I think we were able to bring like maybe near 100 or something like that, and we ended up selling out before the last show. So that was
crazy.
maybe like a I think it was like a week and a half long tour or something like that. People just like records now. They didn't used to like records. Now they like records.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. Now, how much are you guys selling them for?
Just $5.
5 bones, eh? Does that cover your
Yeah.
cost, or do you?
I mean, like there's like a price difference, I guess. Like how we would like if we buy them, they're like $1 or so cheaper for us specifically. So I guess technically we're making like $1.50 or something like
That's
that.
not bad, man. That's
Yeah, I
actually
mean,
not
like,
bad.
yeah, $5 seems like a fair price for a 7-inch, you know.
Oh, for sure. It's kind of fucked because we have to sell ours. Like my one band, we have to sell them for 7 to make a profit because they were like 6 something each, and we're not. That's like not even $1 on each one, I think.
Yeah, or like it seems like these days, at least, bands in general are sort of like uh, bringing the price up on their merch. But I think at the same time, like like bands should be doing that these days because things are a lot more expensive now, and I get that. But at the same time, like the way I wanted to go about it, or at least go about the way we do things, is like online. Online, I guess, is a little bit different. So like I'll sell shirts for like $12, and the records for like $6 or $7 or whatever. But at shows and stuff, usually I'll do like a flat like $10 for shirts, $5 for records, just because that's like I feel like that's just an easy number for people.
Yeah. I haven't been in the States for a minute, so we sell them for 15 up here, just because it's kind of like everyone is, like a $10 shirt up here is like mad cheap. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, it is funny because I think about covers and like $5 cover shows from '94, and it's still like $5 again to the show, like fucking 30 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, do you think like the idea, because I see you guys tour with 2 bands, it seems like a lot. I don't know. Is something you actively will do? Like you try to go out with another band? Because I always think of like, fuck, all the money that we're gonna lose because we have to split that.
Well, I think we haven't. I guess like we haven't toured with another band like for more than I guess a day or so, really.
Okay.
We've mainly just gone out ourselves. Like on the first tour, it was just us. On the second one, we had done 2 shows with Majority Rule, but I think that was kind of like, I guess actually when we were in Canada, we played 3 shows, and they were all with a band called Respire.
Okay.
So I can't remember like what the deal was like, but I mean, it wasn't like a small amount of money, I guess. Like splitting it up wasn't a big deal. We don't even really have an issue with it. But I mean, obviously, like you're gonna maybe get more money touring alone, so I'm always like for doing that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think about with at least Europe. The last 2 times Sabs went, it was on our own, and it just seems to make more sense to do it, like to have 2 bands in one van, sharing that gear.
Yeah. And that's what we're doing too. So
the booking in the States, are you booking everything, or do you guys work with someone?
Yeah, I've been booking everything up to now, at least. We don't officially have a booking agent yet, but I have been talking to somebody, so hopefully it works out.
Cool.
Just because like I'm personally so tired of booking myself.
Dude, tell
it's
me
like
about
actual hell.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like doing it. It's really bad, and it always makes me feel weird doing it, or really annoying. It makes me feel annoying, like I'm annoying.
Yeah, I do know, man. It's a bit not humbling, but it's just sometimes I feel like I'm, please let me play your show, which is like, fuck, I know my bands are good. It's just like, it's kind of a shitty feeling, like begging someone, like, come on, man. Like, I know you might not know us, but we're a good band. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
That's always how it goes.
Do you have, from like all the stuff you did with illustrations, do you feel like that bleeds over with this? Like, are people like, oh, it's Matt from Illustrations? Because I've seen some press where they mention it.
Well, like in any of the press, I guess, that this band has got, like at least at the beginning, it was me just like reaching out to like tons of places trying to set some stuff up, and So I would use that, like members of Illustrations or whatever, but I wouldn't expect anybody to know who that was, you know? I mean, because we weren't even like really doing anything, honestly, but I've had like a person or two, you know, ask about it or whatever, but I don't think there's really any like any like fans carrying over, I guess. I mean, I don't really know. It's kind of weird. Also, I feel like our band is a bit different from Illustrations.
Totally.
So
Oh yeah.
it's sort of a different like vibe, or like also a different kind of like fan base, I guess.
Yeah, I hear you, man. It is a totally different style, and yeah, I guess like from my side of the world, which is, you know, social media, I'm looking at what you guys were doing. I was like, fuck, you know, Illustrations are doing things. You got that like Rubber Tracks thing and that Fall Troy thing, but maybe those are the only two things that I really like pop out
Those
of
are
my
probably
head.
like the two like really notable things that maybe we have done.
But again, it like painted you guys in this picture in my head. I'm like, oh fuck, they're blowing up. They're doing real well. But
Yeah.
it's that sort of clout thing. Let me see. I have a bunch of questions here. So like you're the the main songwriter, I guess, right?
Well, like whenever we started the band, already had like a few songs like written just at home or whatever, but that was mainly like how the 7-inch went, I guess. But everything after that, or even like I guess in between on the 7-inch, both myself and James will write everything in our practice space or whatever. I mean, it's really weird how it comes together, but we just like he just knows exactly what to play. I don't know. I don't know how he does it, but he just knows. And same, you know, like it's just almost effortless to write songs together. Like it's just a weird vibe that we just like understand. But I don't know.
Do you think it's partially because like it's the honeymoon stage of the band? Because I always like that part when you start a new band. It's always fresh, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, maybe. There's definitely been times where we're like super exhausted and like don't want to practice and stuff. But I guess maybe we're still in that stage, I guess, because we've been writing like a ton of songs. Like we just wrote a new one like a couple of weeks ago for another split that we're about to do.
Oh, sweet.
But we just did, or we had written like, what is it? So like our full length is basically 9 songs. So it's 9 new songs. So basically we had already written, I guess, 9 after the 7-inch. But we had sort of committed to like 2 splits after the 7-inch.
Okay.
So I guess that sort of like forced us to like, we knew we had to write something.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of like lazy about it. But I don't know, like sometimes we'll practice and like try to write something and it just doesn't happen. But we do practice maybe like once or twice a week regardless. So it's not too bad, I guess.
Someone put something in my head once about the quality of life as a musician and not being at a hall every fucking day for 4 hours a day. Now, like, because I think like once or twice a week is totally healthy and you can be productive. Is that just by chance, or is it because Illustrations did too much jamming, or like how did you come to this sort of like, yeah, we jam once or twice a week?
Well, Illustrations like never jammed. Like it's because half of us lived in Austin and then the other half lived in San Antonio, and that's an hour away from each other. So that was always a thing. But I live like not even 5 minutes from where we practice, and James is always at this practice space practicing drums himself. So I don't know, we just always like find ourselves there.
Yeah It can definitely burn yourself out though. I remember my one band, we lived in the same house, so we would jam like 4 or 5 days a week, and just becomes a chore. It's like you're creatively exhausted at that point.
Yeah, see, that was kind of like the dream, or like we still always talk about it, like, oh man, it would be sick to like all live in one place and be able to practice in this place, and then we would practice all the time. But I guess if we did that, then we would maybe not like practicing as much as we do now.
Well, yeah, or maybe not. Shit, maybe you guys are like real unique and you can handle that. But for me, it was rad at first, and then it fucking sucked right at the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like we've spent like at least a good amount of time with each other in a van, and we like even if we tour for just 2 weeks or whatever, we still need a break from each other.
For
So
sure. Oh my
living
God.
in the same house, I can only imagine like going on tour for a long time and then going home all to the same house and
That's what
like
we
going
did.
getting right back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be kind of weird, I think.
Three single guys. All we did live together. It was terrible. Do you fuck, I had the question in my head about, do you stress out more with this band than you did with the other band? Because this is more personal, because you're like doing more like riffs and songwriting.
Maybe. I guess so. I I mean, just because I pretty much handle everything,
Uh-huh.
so I guess I do stress about that, especially with booking tours and stuff.
Sorry, hold up. My little
So,
man's here. Tay, you want to say hi
oh,
to Matt?
nice.
Say hi, Matt.
Hi.
Okay, good night, buddy.
Good to see you.
Have a good night.
Going to bed.
All right, see ya.
Good night.
There he goes.
But yeah,
Because I would think
I mean,
that you put more of yourself into it, and it's even as clear as you're. I don't know if you booked for illustrations or not, but I'd assume there's more pressure and more stress to succeed because it's your kid, it's your own thing.
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I guess of course, like I'm super stressed about certain things. Like booking is probably the most stressful thing, especially because you have to like have a tour booked with enough time to even promote it, and like sometimes it doesn't happen that easily, and it's a struggle to find dates here and there, and it's like that gets pretty stressful. But I guess I haven't really. Writing the record was pretty stressful, but everything sort of came together like organically, so it feels like it's been pretty easy for the most part. But obviously, it's probably going to get worse. I mean, going to Europe in general is already going to be a task as it is. Like, it was pretty rough saving the money for the plane tickets out there, but to get the price that we got, we have to like drive to Portland and then
Holy fuck.
fly out of Portland and do all that, and then when the tour is over, fly back to Portland, drive back to Texas.
Oh my God.
So it's going to be like a chore. So that's a little bit stressful, and all the other things that come along with flying overseas, which is, we have gear that we have to bring, and
Yeah.
hoping that it doesn't get lost, and how
Yeah.
much it costs.
But I
So-
think once it's executed and at the end of it, you're always going to feel better for it because it's yours.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You're-
I mean,
you're-
it's totally worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do for work?
I just work at a brewery. Like it's like a food service job basically. But I am lucky enough to have a job to where I only work on the weekends, and the pay is just really well.
Awesome.
So it's just lucky. I don't know. And they give me time off whenever I want, and they're really understanding about the touring and all that stuff. So
That's dope. Do you think,
Yeah.
like, I think about luck, but is it like in your head that like I wanted to find a dope job and you did, and like I want this band to do well and it does? Like, is luck kind of actually luck, or is it something you create and then time catches up to it? It's kind of a heady question, but I kind
I
of think
don't-
it
I don't
happens when you
know.
put your head there. That's for me, anyways.
Well, I definitely like with like the job thing is definitely chance. Like that's just like I just luckily had friends that worked there, and they were hyping it to me because I was working like doubles every day, 40 hours a week, and like I now make much more than I made doing that, working like 3 days a week. So
Fuck, that's awesome.
it's a good situation. But as far as like the band goes, I feel like it's partially luck because a lot of the times, bands will try to get people to listen to their stuff or, do that sort of thing. But I feel like a few of the right people, I guess, have just by chance heard our stuff and liked it and reached out and wanted to help. But at the same time, I feel that everything that I've learned along the way, basically, I guess, with like illustrations and doing the whole manager thing and like booking and putting out records and going through so much like trial and error, I feel like I I confidently feel like I know
Hmm.
at least somewhat of like what needs to be done to, I guess, do a bit better
Yeah.
than going into it blindly, I guess,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
It does. It does. What were like some of the biggest mistakes with illustrations that you learned that you applied to this?
Oh man, I don't know. Like I honestly I think uh the one of the main things is I don't think we really took enough chances because like but at the same time like I don't know, I sort of made it a rule that like if anytime an opportunity comes that we should take it with this band. With
Hmm.
the other band, I feel like we missed a lot of good opportunities and that might be the reason why we sort of ended up where we did.
Huh.
But with this band, we've basically taken every opportunity that we've been given as far as like touring goes or specific things go, I guess.
Hmm.
But that was probably one of the big things for me, at least.
Yeah. Well, there's no book on how to do this, right? You just kind of have to take
Yeah.
like, your experience and run with it. I always think about that looking back to like, had I changed this or made this move or that move, where my bands would be on that sort of ladder
Yeah,
of
exactly.
whatever people giving a shit. But I feel like I've learned those lessons for this band. I'm in like my 2-piece now, where we don't lose money and the band is financing itself, and we're not just jumping on any show kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
I've only learned
Things
that
like that.
through like some heavy mistakes. Like,
Oh yeah.
but whatever. I'm still young enough. Like I'm not like I'll be 35 this month, but I can still see a long road ahead, which is good.
Oh yeah.
Like, and for you, like, what's like the game plan? I guess is kind of take opportunities as they come. But is there more to that? Is it just like next year we want this, or by this time we want this, or is it just I don't know? What's kind of like your bigger picture plan with this band?
Um, let's see. Well, I guess mainly the way that I have it in my mind, at least right now, is like obviously, if a good opportunity comes, take it. And as far as like the big picture goes, I mean, the way I want to run this band is that we as a band should be able to do whatever it is that we want to do, and that is like taking chances, writing music the way we want to write it, releasing music the way we want to release it, things like that. But I mean, at the same time, I don't know, I definitely like have a big picture in my mind, but it's like, I guess like nothing, I guess the main thing is like nothing is impossible. And I'm trying to sort of figure out a way for a band like ours, there's got to be like a way for a heavy band to like, I guess like a good example would be maybe that band Code Orange, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they're like massive now,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I feel like potentially I guess that's where we'd want to be, but at the same time like create our own success. So like we want to be as big as we can be. If we could be the biggest band in the world, that would be amazing. Obviously that's like a far idea, but I mean, like if we can be successful and be a big band by doing whatever we want and not like playing by anybody else's rules and following like the generic path with whatever is like the road in the music industry or whatever, the way they want you to do it, like if we can do it ourselves the entire way and figure that out, then I mean that's the ultimate like road to success for me, like
Yeah.
if we're self-sustaining obviously is one of the big things, and being able to pay yourself, that would be great. So if there's a way to figure that out, then
man.
that's what I'm trying to figure out. So we'll see. I don't know.
I hear you, man. And I think it's good to aim high. You fucking might as well. Like, why
Yeah,
not?
why not?
Yeah.
I mean, like, why not now, if ever? Like you like, there's no point in waiting, really. At this point, I mean, there's really no point in waiting. Like, what, like anything can happen now. So you might as well.
And are you guys old friends? Like, is that ever a thing you worry about? Like the work that's ahead, the stress and the strain it might put on your personal relationships as buddies?
maybe like, I mean, spending a lot of time together or whatever on tour and all that obviously sort of takes a toll eh, on people, I guess, in general. Like, you get annoyed with somebody if they're around you for such a long time or
Hmm.
whatever. But I mean, like, I try to be as straightforward and like honest to everybody. Obviously, like, I'm the one that sits on the computer all day long and sends a bunch of emails and like handles the business and stuff. So it's like I just have to make sure that I'm not like getting too ahead of myself and like making decisions for somebody else or like stuff like that. I
Hmm.
feel like as long as like we're all on the same page and uh, like I'm not making decisions alone and we're all doing everything that we want to do together, I don't think that there will be any issues as far as us as friends. Because
Hmm.
I feel like, because before we even did this band, like the only person in the band that I've known for a long time is Rick, who is our like sample guy.
Hmm.
Uh, I've known him for like maybe like 7 years now. So I don't think that, I mean, unless some really personal stuff happened, which I don't think that would happen, I don't think that there would
Yeah.
be really any issues. I think
Oh.
we're just all such random people, you know? Like, we're all so different that it just works, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you hope, right? You don't know until you get out
Yeah.
there. I always, me and my buddies talk about the road being a kiln, and you go in the
Hmm.
kiln, and some people crack or they get harder because of it.
Hmm.
But the rate that you guys are doing stuff, like as an outsider, there's a feeling of like it's that sort of feeling of like, oh shit, could really start to pick up. Like it's already picked up enough in even as simple as sales and people being interested. But then the next step, you kind of look ahead, right? It's like, all right, shit,
Yeah.
maybe more people want us on the road, and more people want time from us, and it gets to
Oh,
the
yeah.
point where it's cool to be in a band, but I think it's important not to forget that people are individuals too with their own sort of needs and
Yeah, exactly. We've
significant others.
definitely, oh, definitely. We've like talked about that sort of thing before. Just like obviously things are gonna get probably more hectic or like more demanding, and we're gonna need to be touring a little bit more and recording or writing or doing things like that. And like I've, we've all talked about it pretty seriously, like what we want to get out of it, and I think we're all on the same page. At least right now we are.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we weren't, then we would. I don't know. There would be if we weren't, then I don't think we would be where we are now. I guess.
Hmm.
Which I mean, we're nowhere yet whatsoever. But I
Hmm.
mean, we all have to be on the same page and like ready to tour full time, to spend a lot of our time on this, and
Yeah.
we're all there. So I mean, as long as that continues to be the mindset, I think that it'll be okay. But we'll
Yeah.
see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, who
Um,
knows? Like,
how much of the art do you do? I know you did that shirt that's coming out, but like, how much of that is
well,
you?
basically, like like me personally, I just do some art sometimes, and I'll like do like shirts for bands or like whatever. But mainly, for most of the art for our records, at least, like other artists who we are fans of, we usually will work with them. Most of our shirts we have our friends do, but I did whenever we started the band before we even like got the 7 inch out there or anything like that. Back when we were gonna do or when we had finished it and we're gonna send out like the 7 inch, I guess, demos to people to see if we were gonna release it with anybody. I had made some artwork just for show or whatever, and that's the shirt basically that we just put online or whatever. It's like our main logo or whatever,
Hmm.
and that's like I feel like that's just our logo now.
Hmm.
But I mean, I've done some other things for us. Like I'll usually make all of our flyers and stuff, and other things like that, promotional stuff. But I'm not like too invested into the art, or like I'm not spending a lot of time on art for the band. But
Yeah. It
every
would
now and again.
it would be another fucking ball to juggle if you were taking care of all of that too. You know.
Yeah,
Is there
exactly.
is there like a final? Who gets that final word on the art? Like, be it a tour flyer, Do you just is it you
I
presenting it or
mean,
someone else presents
I
it?
like anything. Anything that I make, like the rest of them just sort of trust me with it, I guess. Like I mean, if anybody had a problem with it or anything like that, they would definitely tell me. But I
Mm.
mean, as far as the art that we've had so far, everybody's been pretty into it, and our like everybody's like into the ideas behind the artwork that we've had thus far.
It's
So,
interesting because there's like a. I just went to the Facebook page and looked at all of the art, and I think it's easy for any sort of metal or heavy band to keep an aesthetic. But I always wonder, like, is this by chance or is this curated? Like, did the did because I know at least with the Sab Shawnee, he's like kind of the art guy, so he tries to keep everything in that same vein. Now,
yeah,
do you guys
yeah.
actively do that, or is that just by chance, kind of?
Yeah, no, there's definitely like an aesthetic involved or like an idea behind it. Uh, I don't even know how I even like thought of it, or I think because the 7-inch cover, I didn't even have a hand in that whatsoever. I didn't even come up with an idea or anything. The artist who did that just, I don't know, just made that, and like
It's great.
it's amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, it's unreal,
Hmm.
and I think I feel like that was lucky too, because I mean, but as far as like the artwork, like say on our Bandcamp or tour flyers, I've had a sort of consistent look on those. At least it's just like pretty standard, like black and white, like scanography or whatever, like old. I just like the like old punk flyers, like are
Hmm.
pretty like minimal and basic.
Hmm.
I don't know, I just really like that look, so
Yeah.
I've been consistent with that, and the album art, I think I'm trying to stay pretty consistent with on its own, but I don't know. We'll see.
And sorry, are you doing the album art for the full
No,
length?
the singer Chris Taylor from Page 99, he is gonna do the album art for our full length. So we've sort of talked about it, like what it could be, but I don't even know yet.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah, yeah.
see.
So you have to remind me, when is that? What's the plan for that? Because so you have two other splits coming and then the full length, or is it the full length then two splits?
But so we just did a split with this band Street Sex.
Yeah.
That came out maybe like a month ago,
Mhm.
and we have another split coming out with another band that we're actually recording for next week. And as far as that goes, like we've already figured out the label that's going to put it out and like all the details behind it or whatever. I'm not really sure when it's going to come out. I mean, I've personally been kind of like lazy about that just because I've been so focused on the full length and what we're going to do with that.
Hmm.
Um, but I think like we've had that 7-inch out for, I mean, I think it came out in May of last year. So from then until now, I feel like it's sort of too long to have sat on like 3 songs.
Ah,
So like I feel like people want to hear a full length from us anyway. So the main concern is getting the full length out.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it's done. It's mixed, and all it needs now is mastering. So we're sort of like, as we speak, I'm working on the labels to release that. So hopefully within the next like week or so, we'll have like a definite plan for that.
Cool.
So hopefully we can figure something out to where we can mention it at least not too long after we get back from Europe.
That's
That's
so
the
cool.
goal.
Man, it's just shit like lining up and just happening. It's cool, man. It's very fucking cool. It's exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've also like the full length that we just did, like I've listened to it countless times, and I'm already like I've almost burned it out myself,
Uh-huh.
and no one's even heard it. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, we're just gonna be sitting on it for at least another like month or so before we can even say anything about it.
Fuck.
And I kind of hate that, but
I hear you, man. Sabs, we have a new record that's been done for like a year, I feel. Like mixed, mastered, like artwork's done, just sitting on it. So I hear you, man.
I honestly wish. I mean, I've definitely like thought about this before, but like I wonder what it would be like, or like a success rate for any band to just like write, record, mix, and master, and release like on their own terms. You know, just like if you have a full length or whatever, instead of even looking for a label, just put it out. Screw it. You know,
Yeah.
it probably wouldn't work as well, but.
Well, there's probably a point where it does, though, right? Where as far as like you can afford to press and do everything yourself, because then that $15 for a vinyl is right back in your pocket. You're not having to buy stock or anything like that. That was the one great thing with the Sab's last record. We got a pressing grant from the Ontario Arts Council. So it was money to record it, mix it, master it, and press it, and we didn't have to pay that back. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that was like every record sold was just back in our pocket. And really, it's kind of like if we were busier and maybe didn't lose all this money we did on that last Europe tour, we could just get ahead, right? You go in the hole, and then you go ahead a little bit, go in the hole, and then at some point you're actually out of the hole, and you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a possibility. But I don't know. It's again, there's no book on how to do this. It's like, well, are people interested in my band? How much social media do I need to do? Where am I? Do I need to tour? Markets, this and that. Like, I understand there's markets, but at the same time, we're a small, tiny band. So like, Harrisonburg, Virginia is a market for us. You know what I mean? Whereas bigger bands would probably
at this
skip
point, you might as well just try anything and everything. And it either works or it won't, you know, so.
Yeah, it's so much different now. I'm not busy really at all. I got a family life now, so I've slowed down. But that's part of the fun in this is I can talk to people who are still hard in the grind and be like, what's it like on that side, man?
Yeah, I feel that.
This is kind of a silly question, but I was thinking about live setups. When you guys set up live, is it always the sort of same thing, or do you actively try to like, I know some bands or a band, I remember once pulled out a tape measure and we're like, they need to be specific to how far the cabs are. Do you give any sort of thought, or is it like, I'm on this side all the time?
Well, like, as far as sides go, it's usually because since we have like a sampler and he has his own stand and all of that, it's like I think on the last tour we did as far as sides go, I don't think it really matters because I use two cabs, but I use one cab on each side, and then I have my head, and then I have a slave head. So it's just like the same thing coming out of both cabs, I guess, for stereo, I guess. But no, I don't think
really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
What's your setup? What are you using?
Well, I've had this orange cab. I have an orange 412, and then I have a Marshall 412, and then I have a Sovtek MiG 60, and then a Sun Slave. So I run the Sovtek, the line out into the slave, and it's insanely loud. Because the MiG 60 on its own is actually really quiet. But the tone is just like the best tone ever. The Sovtek MiG, fucking MiG, whatever. I just love the tone. It's just so sharp.
Word. What? Any pedals, anything like that?
Yeah. Well, I use an HM2, of course, and I also use a tube screamer. So for the drive, most of the time run both at the same time, but also for some other parts I'll use just the tube screamer without the HM2. And then obviously I have like carbon copy delay and Holy Grail reverb, and that's pretty much what I'm using mainly. I'm trying to mix it up. Like I do want to like mess around with some other pedals, but I'm honestly too poor for that.
I get to a point, yeah. It's like, this is just my gear now. There's no.
I'm sure I'll like end up being the guy with like a million pedals or whatever, but right now I'm gonna keep it basic, just because it's already hard enough, you know, playing guitar and doing vocals at the same time. So it's like, I don't want to have to like dance around with the pedals at the same time because that's just too much.
Yeah, there's a band I saw and they had too many pedals, and there was an issue, and there was a huge delay. It's like maybe you shouldn't have so many pedals. It was like ridiculous how many pedals. Like I can't tell the difference.
I've seen that too, where like they'll have a huge board, even like two huge boards, and like the idea is cool because they have so many options for sound, but it's like, say you're playing and you're not like fully paying attention to what you're doing, and you hit like the right pedal and then you hit a different one, and then it just starts going crazy, and you're like trying to figure it out, or like a little chord pops out here, and then you're just screwed.
one like patch cable out of 40.
Yeah, and then you can't figure it out because there's so many pedals. So what do you do?
Yeah, maybe it's a byproduct of like a bunch of touring and your pedal board. Like your first tour is like this, and then like 20th tour it's like one pedal. This one pedal.
If I could use one pedal, that would be amazing.
But,
yeah.
fuck. Yeah, I'm always curious about that kind of stuff, just because what you guys are doing is cool. Like I've heard it all, like power violence. I'm like, it's not really power violence, and I hear it like black metal, and then like indie, and then like post hardcore, and it's all this screamo. It's a whole bunch of labels that are thrown on it, but like the recordings sound great. Now all the live clips I've seen, it's cool. It's kind of like I wish I would have saw you guys, even just to hang. Like fuck.
Oh yeah,
like
I mean, well, I'm sure we'll be back like pretty soon. I know once the record actually comes out, we're trying to make it back to Canada, just because it was so fun. Like it was so fun.
So far from home, Jesus, fuck.
Oh yeah,
awesome.
But I mean, like, it was just such a like I've been to Canada before, but I don't know. It was just a really good experience.
That's cool, man. It's nice too that it's easier for you guys to get into Canada than it is for us to get into the States. Like it's literally, I think you just like, yeah, we're gonna go play a couple shows.
Yeah, that's kind of weird to me. Like, do you need, if you live in Canada, do you need like a visa?
Yeah.
To come in?
Yeah, you don't need, but you're lying if you don't, right? If we show up with gear, we're gonna go record somewhere. I'm not looking to book and put a bunch of work into booking and then just risk it on a lie. Like I'll do it legit, but it's expensive. It's like $1,000 a band.
Oh really?
Yeah, man, for real. That's before you can play your first show, right?
That is insane.
But my 2-piece band, we just got a touring grant, so that's gonna cover that. That covers like a vehicle if we want, and some PR, and the P2s. So yeah, it's pretty dope that there are things set up to help idiots like me, right? Like I need money to do this.
That's amazing. Someone I think told me about that when we were there, that they assist you with that kind of stuff. I wish that people cared enough here to help out musicians like that. I think here in Austin specifically, there's like if you apply and get accepted or whatever, I think there's at least like what is it, like, I don't know if it's insurance or like medical insurance or something like that. Like they give you insurance basically. Like you're on an insurance plan as a musician. So that's kind of cool, but yeah, you don't get any money or anything. But yeah,
you'll take whatever, man. Even like whatever. Like I work with a stick company, Los Cabos. They're like a Canadian one, and I don't get them free, but even a discount thing is like, man, I'll take whatever that makes this easier. Anything.
Yeah, exactly.
A grant's like that fucking one end of the spectrum, and then like saving like $3 on a pair of sticks is the other. But I'll take it. Man.
Oh yeah.
It's not a lot of money to be had in this type of shit.
Well, very true.
Man, I do this about an hour, and then I do the Hibzine, which is just I'll play a track off of something. So I like the first track, or the one like your side of the split.
Yeah.
What is it? I forgot to write it down. The Nihilist?
The Nihilist, yeah.
Okay.
The Nihilist,
sweet.
yeah.
So if that's cool, I'll play that.
Yeah.
I'll put it in after the fact, but let's see. So, yeah, this is the Nihilist. This is half. Who's the other band that you guys did?
Street Sex.
Street Sex. And that was put out. It's funny because the Nathan was on the podcast. I don't know, 10, 15 episodes ago. So that was his label, Hand of Death, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then a UK label, or a European label, but I'll just put it in right here. This is Portrayal of Guilt, the Nihilist.
Yeah.
was at. But cool. Shit, man. Like, I really just want to catch up, see how you're doing. And it's like, I'm excited, man. Like it's good music. That's it. Like, I'm always stoked on good music getting recognized. So it's like a truth of the universe. Like, just do something honestly and with your heart into it. And you hope that it gets recognized. Because we could make music in our offices, but you put it out there so people can hear it and get stoked on it. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure you're feeling that. I know on this end, I'm excited for you guys, man. It's really cool. It's really cool. You guys are gonna go to Europe, and then I'm sure you guys will pop up this way at some point.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, let's keep in touch, man. And then when you come up, we'll grab some food. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Yeah, cool. Well, I'll just take off here, and then I'll let you know when this thing goes up. It'll be up on Monday, I think.
Sounds good, man. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I hate to cut it short,
Yeah,
but
good.
I know I gotta fucking catch some
man.
sleep. I was sick as a dog last night, so I'm
Oh man.
I'm feeling it.
But yeah, man, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. You guys be safe, okay? I'll see you around.
All right, you too. Later, man.
Cheers, buddy. All right. Maybe this is a new thing where I'll let the guest go and then close the show. But yeah, you guys can get that portrayalofguilt.bandcamp.com, I believe. And check that out. The link is in the description. Let me just close this off. This is Take Her Wide 215 with Matt. Brought to you by Kevin Rigo at Hefner Toyota out in Kitchener. Brought to you by Wellington Brewery with their Grisette beers. 25 cents of each can sold is donated to the Guelph Wellington Women in Crisis. DapperBeardOil.com for your beard oil needs. Use the promo code TakerWide free ship for free shipping. And also Ironclad Graphics out in Kingston, just ironcladgraphics.com. Again, the information's in the description. Mention the show and you get $25 off your order. What else can I say? So I have that YouTube channel now. I don't know if you guys knew that. If you're listening to this point, then you don't really need to go onto YouTube. But if anyone is interested to share the show, that's a way to do it. I know I need more subscribers before I can get a proper URL. So if you haven't subscribed to that, that'd be dope. I'm just looking to do more things with this. I'm open to suggestion, comments. Would you guys care to, if I started like a community on the Facebook page? Like, it's mostly my friends, right? Most of you guys are my buds, so I don't even know what we would really talk about, but I don't know. I'm always open to ideas to how this thing can grow. The Instagram page is Take Her Wide Podcast, and I'm posting old episodes, which now if you see the image in the little description, you can listen to that specific episode by just clicking the bio in the Instagram page. It did a link right to that episode specifically. I'm changing it every time I upload a new episode. And I don't really know what else to say. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is Take Her Wide. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. I'm going to go get some sleep because I am sick. All right. Love you guys. Peace.